today we're going to see The Matrix Resurrections. Now, you've been waiting for this moment,
That's
haven't you?
purely why I got
Purely
the
for that,
sunglasses. Yeah.
So, both of us have seen the original trilogy.
Yeah.
What did you think of it overall?
First film, I remember we had it taped.
We did, yeah.
We recorded it off the telly, and I remember watching it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again because I really enjoyed it.
I watched I watched the first film a lot.
Yeah, and then when it came to the second film, I mainly fast forwarded to the action scenes. Don't get me wrong, I watched the second one all the way through, maybe twice.
Yeah.
And then I just fast forwarded to the action scenes because it got a bit too prophecy, choice, and the Wachowski waffle, baffle.
That's what a lot of people's criticism was, I think, with the third one especially.
The third one is just for Hugo Weaving's very creepy, scary laugh.
Yeah, that meme bit, yeah. And the same, so it's been a while since I've seen any of them, but I feel like I've seen them enough times to remember it. Yeah, because the first one was a real breakthrough film. I mean, I think it owes a lot to what like Japanese mangas were doing and stuff, but I don't watch a lot of mangas. Like Ghost in the Shell, it was an influence, but yeah, it was a great film. The action sequences, like bullet time, it's still awesome to watch things like that. The second film, again, the action scenes were great. The problem is it kind of felt like it was overcompensating because the general story wasn't as strong. Yeah. The problem is
because I don't think they anticipated it to be that huge.
No,
so they didn't quite think of a sequel at that point.
It's like like you said, the philosophizing is way overdone. Like it feels like there's way too much of it. There's these huge rambling conversations about this and that really bog the film down. And I think it's kind of epitomized by the scene with the architect. I am the architect. The guy at the end of the second one. Yeah, it's like.
And you know when they find the key maker and the key maker sat there and he's explaining the plot.
Yeah.
I know because I must know.
Yeah, it became very vague. I think basically they made these sequels because the first one was very successful. There was probably pressure to do these ones.
Yeah.
So this one now, Resurrections, I've seen a trailer for it.
Yeah.
It doesn't look too much like the other ones.
No, I'm trying to think of how to describe it because I think the route they maybe were trying to go down, I don't want to say Inception because it's quite similar to The Matrix of like, is this real?
Yeah.
But it's much more on a, are you fucking mental? Kind of thing with Keanu.
Yeah, because the third one did feature on a pretty definitive note because Neo died.
Yes.
And then
Zion was saved.
The Zion was saved, and there was peace between the humans and the thing. To be fair, the architect did say, I think he said how long this peace can last, and so as long as it can. Thing is, we don't know. At least I don't know if this one is about a war between the humans and the machines again. I'm guessing it's not. I think it's probably something else that's happening.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that they don't kind of repeat. Yeah. Like, I'm hoping that it goes along the route of Neo being mental or something like that, and then I just don't want them to like all of a sudden go, no, actually it turns out it was all true, prophecy, you're the one, be Jesus again. I just don't want that stuff to come through it again.
I don't want the sequel writing.
Plus I do not want the bland like dialogue and the
kind of flat delivery.
I think it's just because of Keanu Reeves acting at the time as well. Monotone. I don't want monotone anymore. I want kind of because Keanu's got so much better as his age.
People liked him back then, but he's like a beloved figure now, and his acting has improved. But back then, there was a lot of actors were like, it was kind of like in those films, it was kind of a lot of flat delivery because they were saying it like they were just reading it serious. They were saying it like they were just reading it straight out of a philosophy textbook, weren't they?
I hope, because I'm quite interested about to see how the computer graphics and stuff, how that is tied into this one.
Yeah, but even for like the first one in like the late 90s, even then the effects were fantastic.
Really good.
So
back then, but it's just it purely is just a case of I want to see what the graphics do. I want to see what they actually do with the characters because actual Morpheus, Lawrence Fishburne, is not in this.
Yeah, it's like younger Morpheus.
It's a younger Morpheus.
They've recast
so
Morpheus.
I'm very curious to see how that ties into or what the hell happens.
This is like an alternate universe kind of thing. But,
yeah.
But no, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting to see. Like I haven't seen any of the other ones in the cinema.
No.
This will be the first one.
Yeah.
But like I say, it's a long time since I've seen the sequels. A long time since I've seen the first one, to be honest. But I'm quietly optimistic.
Yeah, I mean the advert, but the advert for it. Every single time the adverts come out for things like this, you think, "Ooh, that looks really good." Actually, I just hope it's not disappointing. I hope that's not like the only 5 minutes of the film is tied into all of that advert.
I'm hoping it's not just bringing back an old franchise just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
So that's all I can think now. But we're going to park up now if we can find a space.
There's plenty of spaces. I'm
just looking for the right spot. Yeah.
One spot.
So we'll go in after we've parked up, see it, and then see what we think afterwards.
Yeah.
So we're just out of Matrix Resurrections. What did you think? I could kind of sense how you were feeling about this, I think.
It was good, but it definitely had the Star Wars vibe about it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to reenact a few things, replay a few things over and over again.
I was pretty disappointed, to be honest.
Yeah.
I did call a few things, it's not the whole humans against machines thing now.
Yeah.
Partly because I really didn't know who was fighting who in this movie.
I was a bit confused.
This film is so confused. It's so all over the place.
Yeah.
It's like one of those films where it's like from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies started having, where suddenly everybody was backstabbing everybody, so you didn't know who was allied with who.
Yeah.
It was so confusing.
A bit, What was the point of Smith in this?
No,
he was literally the Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's the company that Neo works for. Ha ha ha, Deus Machina. Yeah. The problem is, it's a years, even decades later sequel, which is always risky.
Yeah.
And again, they've done the kind of Force Awakens things where let's just take the first movie, let's just change a few things, but keep a lot of the plot beats are the same. It's a lot of the same stuff. There's the whole unplugging thing. We're on a hovercraft again. There's a brand new crew.
The entire reenactment of the whole unplugging thing, I'm like, I swear to Christ, I've put that video back in again and I'm watching this crap all over again.
Did they put the wrong movie on?
Yeah.
But so much of it is exactly the same. There's
Neo with his hair shaved now is just
he doesn't
tragic.
Look right.
Like, oh, you look so old, Keanu Reeves.
It's weird seeing Keanu with the shaved hair and the shaved beard, and again, so much of it is the same. It's
some parts of it I enjoyed, some aspects of it I enjoyed, some aspects of it were interesting, and then there's this tongue-in-cheek about the old movies and how they tried to entangle it with a game that he used to do. I was thinking, okay, I kind of get what you're trying to do here, but
also this movie has ridiculous sections of downtime, so much slow pace, long scenes of dialogue.
For me, all I kept telling myself was, this is nowhere near as bad as Revolution and the second one. I'm not even
sure which I dislike more.
I honestly think that the first one's still my favourite.
First one's still the best.
Then there's the second one. Then there's this. Then there's the third one.
Revolutions. I'm not even sure where I'd rank it, because it's like in a lot of ways it feels different, but in all the worst ways it just feels exactly the same. It's like a lot of the same mistakes are being made. I think it's only one Wachowski. It's Lana Wachowski.
Yes.
It's only them involved. I've seen another Wachowski name in the credits, but it's not.
No. There's nowhere near like with the second and the third one. It's not like, right, here's all our money, do what you want. This time they are kept in check a bit.
I think so. Yeah.
Thank Christ for that.
There's also nowhere near enough action sequences. I know that sounds like kind of a stupid thing to remark, like I want more action sequences, but there was huge gaps between them. They're nowhere, like, one of the best things about the others is the fight choreography. In this,
it's slow.
The cameras were way too close. Way too much wobbly cam, and a lot of times, because a lot of fights take place in like kind of darkened rooms. I'm like, who's fighting who? I don't know what's going on here.
That was kind of where the computer graphics in the old movies were, because you could fast forward it and make it look like they were stupid fast fighting with ages. This time, I suppose they were trying to make it look, this is real combat. But at the end of it, you're thinking, well, this is clearly going, your hand goes here, I grab it, then I do this. It just seemed a bit slow enough that you could tell it was very, very, very choreographed.
Choreographed. But there's also the whole Smith thing being played by a different actor.
I don't get that. I don't get why he was there.
Barely in the film. Doesn't really do very much. Kind of pops up at convenient times.
Yeah, and I don't think they still fully explained to me, how are you back again?
No, that was what annoyed me. Is like the explanations for how Neo is in the film again comes about halfway through. The explanations are so unsatisfying, and everything is so over-explained, but it still doesn't make any sense. That's another problem I had. You know, on the hovercraft, when you had the crew, like in the first movie, on the Nebuchadnezzar, you had the crew.
Yes.
I remember APAC, I remember Switch, I remember Tank, I remember Dozer. They weren't brilliantly written characters, but I understood their personalities.
Yeah.
In this, every character is just a vessel for exposition.
The only one I can remember is... this is a bad enough sign. I've only been out 10 minutes.
We've just walked out and I can't remember.
The one who was on the computer all the time.
Yeah.
Seek,
yeah. Honestly, I remember them more for their haircuts.
Yes, that's what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, there's blue-haired chick. Right,
yeah.
there's seriously weirdly braided hair
One
chick.
with a weird hair, yeah, everybody's here just to do just long explanation things.
Yeah.
Niobe's back in this. Again, she's there to be kind of a grouchy leader who scolds the main characters, but not for very long, and it leads nowhere. There's a scene in this movie where Neo has to be put in a jail cell, and you think, so he's put in this jail cell, then he wanders out to a balcony, because this jail cell has a balcony which overlooks the city, and then he gets rescued a minute later.
What was the point of that? That whole scene lasted about 3.5 minutes you have a choice to go in this jail cell or whatever the hell ever. He went in,
but both of
he
them
walked out to the balcony, Morpheus shows up and go, okay, the ship's going to come pick us up now, right?
I'm guessing that's more commentary on choice. There's too much choice. Also, speaking of things that are brought back into the movie, the Merovingian, the French guy, is brought back.
What the hell? It took me about 2 minutes for me to figure out who the hell it was. It was only when you went, oh God.
Same.
I thought,
he's back. He's back. He comes back during an action sequence to basically do his whole over-the-top French. He'll be saying something angrily in English, then he'll switch to French, then he walks off, never seen again.
What was the point of him? He just went. He didn't exactly get killed in it. He didn't exactly get beaten up. He just came, ranted, shouted, and then left.
He didn't do anything.
That's all it was.
That's what made me think. I got to the point where I felt like this movie doesn't feel like it was made by the makers of the previous film. It felt like it was made by major fanboys of the previous film. Let's just take all of our favourite.
I did get the sense they were just doing like cheeky winks to the camera occasionally, and they'd be like, oh yeah, remember that bit? Remember this bit?
I'm going to take all of my favourite moments and my favourite theories from the other movie, and I'm going to stitch it all together. That's why this movie feels so disjointed. When it got to the end, into this big triumphant ending, I didn't know what anybody was fighting. I didn't know what they were fighting for. I don't know what the resolution was. So I'm like, how am I supposed to feel about any of this?
So I take it this is like kind of just the first Matrix again. The main characters are all unplugged now, and they're gonna smash the system.
Sort of
stuff. Kind of thing. But I get that, the whole Trinity bit at the end. That I swear to Christ is like the women empowering thing.
I think
that's what it was.
There's a lot more of that. Even
fair enough about it, but it's just the fact that how Hollywood and all the big movie lot are going about it. You're just like, guys, come on, we know you're forcing this. What are you doing?
It's crammed into every movie. Another weird little thing's like, funny enough, this is something that came up before the movie. We were watching the trailers, and you were pointing out how a lot of these trailers, they use music from like the 80s, but they
70s and 80s, but they kind of revamp it, repimp it a bit to make it sound a lot more epic, maybe.
Which is what they did at the end of this film, because the first Matrix ended with a Rage Against the Machine song, Wake Up.
Yeah.
It's the same song again, but it's like a remix, which sounds...
It's a remix and a woman singing
which sounds pretty much exactly the same with the female singer, and I swear some of the words were changed. I swear there was some anti-government or anti-corporate lyrics were thrown there.
It wouldn't surprise me.
But overall,
if I see it one more time, I'd be like, oh, I'll give it another go. I'll give it another go. But I wouldn't go out and buy the DVD, sadly.
There were parts of it I did enjoy. Some of the action was okay. I liked the bit where they kind of redone the whole Neo versus Morpheus training thing, and it ended with basically Hadoukening, doing like a Dragon Ball Z kind of thing. And there was a scene later on, where he's fighting Smith. I'm like, why doesn't he just do this now? And then he waits to the end of the scene to do it.
Yeah.
So overall, this was just a big disjointed mess. I had no idea what was going on. There was so much exposition. Even then, I still didn't know what was going on.
And some of the times they were mumbling, so I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
There were scenes where guys spoke really fast. They made this big deal about Morpheus coming back. He barely does that. He's more in it as like the nanobot guy.
Yeah.
So Morpheus comes back. Oh, Morpheus. Nope. Barely any Morpheus. There's even scenes in this movie where in the background you have clips of the first film.
Yes. It just made me want to watch the first film.
For
me it did.
It felt like way too much self-congratulations, that they were giving themselves a big pat on the back, and there's even characters going out how great Matrix was. It felt like they were really just stroking their own ego doing that.
Yeah.
But
a bit. I think disjointed is the word for it, but I'm not regretting that I'm not regretting that I've seen it on the big screen. I'm not regretting that, but I am just thinking it was a bit too confusing, a bit too...
Yeah, it was too all over the place. Even the acting, like, you know, Keanu Reeves got a stick for his acting in the original trilogy. Even his acting feels like he's doing the same thing. It's a lot more stiff delivery.
Yeah, he was good at the start. He was good at the start when he was even. You remember when he was chatting to Trinity the first time on the table? That felt like a genuine conversation, like a genuine trying to get to know each other. And then the moment he goes through that bastard mirror, it just. It felt like it felt like he was hampered a lot by the writing. There's a lot of very wooden lines of dialogue. Yeah, that didn't help. Yeah, because it literally just felt like a rehash of the third one. You know, when he's like, I won't ask you to take your ships to go and get Trinity and save Trinity. That stuff. Yeah. Also, way too many mega slow, mega sad moments. You know how the moments that Lego Batman movie made fun of when everything would stop and it would get all the sentimental piano music? This movie did those scenes way too much. There were way too many of them. And I was sat there like, I don't know what I'm supposed to feel here because I don't know what's going on. I'm confused more than anything else. Yeah, I was trying to think who's dying here that I care about. I can't really think of anybody. Neo was the only one I really give a shit about, and maybe a little bit of Trinity. That was it. Yeah. But the Neil Patrick Harris character was kind of interesting. He was okay, but again, the problem is he's brought in just to be a monologuing villain. I'm tired of monologuing villains. Yeah, he was but at least he didn't go on as bad as the bloody second one. What was it called? The Architect? The Architect. For me, if you're going to have a villain who's going to talk on and not actually do anything, to me that's just annoying. Yeah. It's just ineffective. I can't fear someone who just does great shit like that. Yeah. So, overall, bit of a rant, I know. Overall, very, very mixed bag. Parts of it I liked, most of it I just felt let down. I felt bored a lot of the time, confused. Yeah. I'm sure hardcore fans will praise it for being a return to form or whatever. To be fair, after the Wachowskis' filmography, they needed another Matrix film. To even try and save it, and even then it was just like, no. I don't know if there's going to be any more. I'm not that interested in seeing any more. I don't think it's going to pull in as much as they hoped it would. That's the thing. So maybe they'll get a lesson from that. Maybe. I mean, the fact that ticket prices are lower now anyway, maybe that'll encourage more people to go. It'll probably make its budget back, but honestly, I'm not optimistic about the future of the franchise. No. They should have left it. They should have left it where it was. It wasn't a good note to end on, but they should have left it where it was. Even though it was kind of flat note to end on, at least it did feel like an ending. Yeah. This feels like a continuation of a franchise that spends so much time trying to justify its own existence. Yeah. That you feel detached from the story being told. Mm-hmm. That's the best thing I can say. That's the best way to put it. Definitely. So overall, very mixed bag. Wouldn't recommend. No. Hardcore fan, give it a go. Yeah. Everybody else, no. Everybody else, no.